Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Discover IFSA New Zealand, a student info session on all of our amazing New Zealand programs and opportunities. I want to start by just reiterating what we like to call the IFSA difference, our key commitments, so what we care about and what we are committed to as an organization and for our students. First of all, we have inclusive excellence, so making sure that our program and all of our practices are inclusive and reflect the value that we as an organization and as individuals place on diverse perspectives, and then making sure that we support all of our learners, all of our students who provide enrichment for our educational communities. Second is individualized learning. So we strive to develop supportive environments which encourage our students to achieve your individual goals, what you want to get out of your study abroad and your experience there, just through active engagement in our high quality learning experiences. And then third is intercultural agility. So we just want to inspire you, our students, to build lifelong intercultural competencies, embrace cultural diversity as you experience it. And then finally, enduring impact. So we design our programs to make sure we maximize the impact of your experience and make sure you have opportunities that promote intellectual, personal development that can really benefit you throughout the rest of your life. So that is the IFSA difference. Now I want to introduce our incredible New Zealand team. So we have, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Brittany Brooks. I am the enrollment counselor for our New Zealand programs, and I help you and all of our students through the application process. If you have any issues as you're going through it, you can come to me, and then I help prepare you for your experience in New Zealand as well. So making sure that you are aware of what you need for your visa, walking you through getting flights, and just making sure you're prepared for your time in New Zealand. So I'm your go-to person until you get to site. And then that brings us to our incredible on-site team in New Zealand. So we have with us today on the call our incredible resident director, Sean Monroe. We also have here, yes. Well, thanks for being here, Sean. You'll hear from her very shortly. We also want to introduce Tamara Bycroft. She is our Regional Health and Safety Manager for Asia Pacific region. She's incredible. She'll be your go-to for all things health, safety, and well-being. Later on in the process, you'll be able to make appointments with her as well. She can help you with everything from questions about your medication and if you can bring that into New Zealand and how you can continue with healthcare that you need while you're on site. Everything like that, academic accommodations, Tam is going to be your go-to there. We also want to introduce our amazing student experience coordinators. So we have four. They are located on site at the host institution city. So we start with Katie Ridley. She is our senior student experience coordinator, and she is based in Christchurch. So if you're heading to the University of Canterbury, Katie will be your best friend. We have Elizabeth Kimber. She is our student experience coordinator for Auckland. And then we have Megan Baker, our student experience coordinator for Wellington. And so that's Victoria University of Wellington students. Then we have Jem Megan, our student experience coordinator based in Dunedin, and that is for the University of Otago. All four amazing, and they will be your go-to people for when you're on site. If you need help with anything, they help you get involved on campus, and they're all amazing. So we're all very excited to welcome our students to New Zealand for future semesters, starting with spring 2025. So I'm going to now hand it over to Sean, who's going to talk to you all about our awesome New Zealand programs. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Brittany. Nice to have you here. Kia ora koutou. My name's Sean Monroe. As Brittany said, I'm the New Zealand Director for IFSA programs. I've been with IFSA since 2012, and I'm based down south in Dunedin. Studied at the University of Otago and also worked there in the international office. So just to give you a quick overview, IFSA has 4 programs in New Zealand, and we are going to talk about the universities and the cities in a little bit more detail. But just to give you a quick snapshot, you'll all be arriving into Auckland, and I'll tell you a little bit about our orientation program shortly. Auckland's New Zealand's largest city, population 1.6 million. So, probably on a smaller side in terms of cities from a US perspective, but a third of the population of New Zealand live in Auckland. So, just under that. But yeah, it is a large city. It's a multicultural city. And then the Victoria University of Wellington is based in our capital city, Wellington, right down at the bottom of the North Island. And then we head down to the South Island, where there's the University of Canterbury in Christchurch and the University of Otago in Dunedin. So varying sizes in terms of cities, but in terms of the programs that you'll get, the courses you can study, all the universities have a really good broad range of subjects and departments. Each university has its own unique kind of specialty, and we'll go into that a little bit more as we kind of make our way through the universities. So just in terms of what every IFSA student will get on our programs, Brittany's already talked about key commitments, and they really do underpin everything that we do, everything that we offer to our students on site, right from the pre-arrival advising to once you get on site. And we really want that to be a seamless experience for you. Brittany and the New Zealand team work really closely together to kind of get any questions that you have answered before you come, just so that, you have good expectations are met when you arrive on site. And, with our on-site staff, but as well as our TAM, our health and safety manager, we just want to make sure that you get everything you need and that you're set up for a really successful semester. So part of our individualised learning and our IFSA commitments is that we have a roadmap for learning. And so before you come on site, we're going to ask you to set some personal, academic and professional goals, and then we want to just make sure that once you come on site that you're really getting the most out of the experience. So part of that is that we all meet together in Auckland at some point. You might be with another university, or you'll be coming with your other program participants, and we head about 90 minutes north of Auckland Airport and have a 3-day orientation. So that kind of gets you into the time zone in New Zealand. I'm coming to you from the future. It's we're a day ahead of you here. So the whole idea is for you to kind of get to know each other and get to know us, and then just where our orientation takes place in an open air eco sanctuary right on the Hauraki Gulf. So you're surrounded by water, you're surrounded by beautiful native bush. There are even some kiwi and other native birds on site. So it's a protected area, and the students just love it. And then we accompany you down to your host city and Brittany introduce you to the staff that will be with you during the semester. And that's what we're really here to do, is just to be a wraparound service. And, to try and get you to be part of our community, but also other communities in your host city and host institution. And on the kind of on the right-hand side of the column, everything that we kind of help you with along the way. So any questions that kind of come up, you're not going to be arriving in New Zealand and have to find your way anywhere. We will be right outside in the International Arrivals Hall with our big IFSA sign to kind of meet you and welcome you here. And then if anything happens along the way, we're kind of here to support you through that. Whether that's, getting some extra help with your academics or providing really awesome excursions and activities. Then at the end of your semester, we are Butler University based in Indianapolis is our school of record. So you will receive a Butler University transcript, which has been translated into the US education system, and that's what is sent to your home institution to get your academic credit at the end of the semester. Thanks, Brittany. Next slide. So I've talked a little bit about the orientation. So this is the orientation site. It's pretty spectacular. It's on the end of the Whangaparoa Peninsula in Auckland, and is just really like a real getaway. You can still see the large city of Auckland in the distance. But yeah, we kind of break up the orientation with having some workshop and briefing sessions, but also getting you out into the outdoors. You can see the group down the bottom there enjoying some kayaking in the bay. It's a very calm bay with headlands on each side, so it's a perfect place. It's not very deep, so for students who haven't had much outdoor experience, it's very safe. We work with the YMCA up there, and we've been taking students there for over 20 years. So we work really closely with their instructors, and it's just a really awesome few days. So everybody, we would really encourage you not to miss that if you can. It's a compulsory part of our program, but there are some rare cases in which students aren't able. But it's just a really great way to meet your fellow IFSA students and just so there's no Wi-Fi access. You're just really there to kind of interact with each other and just have a really great few days, just unplugging from the world and getting to know each other. Thanks, Brittany. And then I mentioned that we have a program of excursions and activities. These are already included in your program fee, so they won't cost you anything extra. And each program has its own unique set of excursions and activities that are really specific to that area. So it might be that you're, doing something in the outdoors, you're learning about Māori tikanga or cultural practices. We have a real focus on sustainability and environmentalism in New Zealand, and I think that's why a lot of students choose to come here. So one of our activities is a kaitiakitanga activity where we're kind of kaitiaki means caretaker in Māori, and the whole idea is that you're kind of giving back to the environment, you're taking care of it for the next generation. And so we really encourage all students to be part of that. And if you get to do something really cool like tree planting, it means that a little part of you will always stay in New Zealand. And you could visit it with future generations. So also New Zealand is very renowned for its landscapes, its unique geological and ecological sites. So we really make use of the ones that are kind of local to our area. And New Zealand's a fairly young country in terms of like the people, but it has a very rich history in terms of deep history in terms of its geology. And it's there's a lot of very diverse looking landscapes in very small areas. So we really want you to kind of see and appreciate those. Thanks, Brittany. So these are the kind of activities that you do. We do have weekly catch-ups where you can just come and meet with your IFSA student experience coordinator and just a wee check-in, say hi. We also have one-on-one check-ins throughout the semester where you kind of meet and talk about your goals or talk about any challenges that you're having or any awesome experiences you've had. And so that's just a really great way to kind of check that you're on track and you're getting your most out of it, because 5 months, it is a significant amount of time, but it also goes really quickly. So we just want to make sure that, what you thought you'd get out of it, you do. And that if you want any ideas from like a local who knows where to refer you to or some good ideas of clubs and things on campus that, that they can get you involved in those things. So, that we get really high participation on these activities, and it's, students are all living in different locations, but it's a great time to kind of touch back with your IFSA community. And a lot of the students, they do connect with each other and end up making good friends. But these are also good touch points for the wider group. So just going through, I'm going to go from north to south because that's an easy way to kind of order it. So we'll start with the University of Auckland for an overview of what's kind of unique about each city. So as I said, Auckland's our largest city. It's our most diverse city. 40% of the people who live in Auckland were born outside of New Zealand. And it's kind of since the late 1980s, 90s, it's like our immigration policies kind of moved away to preferential entry from the UK and Europe to more closer to the Asia Pacific region. So it is a very diverse city, and it's, you just kind of can see that walking around the downtown, and also just the festivals and things like that happen. It's a fairly safe city, and where you're living, where the university is located, is right next to the downtown. So it's very accessible in terms of kind of being close to the people, being close to the action. It's a subtropical climate, so when you're the further north you are, the more tropical you are, and then the climate gets a bit more temperate the further south you go. Because if you think of us down here in the south, the next largest landmass is Antarctica. So it's not we do get nice temperate weather, but it's not going to be like super hot. So academic highlights at Auckland has a really good engineering program because it's the largest city. Business entrepreneurship, it has a strong business school. And then it's the largest Pacific Island city in the world, so in terms of Pacific Island population. So it has some really interesting kind of Māori and Pacific studies, but also health and education specifically relating to those communities. You can do studio or fine arts, and marine science. There's lots to choose from. As I said, kind of any subject you can take. Each university has over 100 subjects to choose from. So these are just some of the highlights. And just a note that psychology courses tend to fill up quite fast. So if you are going to need a psychology course for your major, it's a good idea to kind of get your application early and get things sorted early. In terms of your accommodation, you'd be living in an apartment block. There's 3 to 5 bedroom apartments. You have your own bedroom with like a wardrobe and storage, and then a desk, chair, and bed. So it's really great way to meet other people. There'll be international and domestic students. They're really close to campus. It's just a short walk up a hill. Auckland is built on a volcanic field, so there's like over 50 volcanoes in the Auckland region, and there are some pretty steep hills in there, but you'll get very fit walking around. And in terms of what the university, their unique offerings, there's a Generation Changemaker program, which is specifically for study abroad and international students, and you kind of participate in some sustainability challenges, but also undertake some workshops, and they have like lecturers in the area to come and talk about things specific to sustainability. And then there's also some volunteering that goes along with that too. They also have this fantastic Unleash Innovation and Entrepreneurship Hub. And it's got everything there that you can imagine just to go. They have competitions, group competitions, things like that, but they've got like 3D printers, they've got sewing machines, hot glue guns, and then like engineering type things available, but also computers, modeling, things like that. So and it's in the engineering building right on the center of campus. So it's a really great place to kind of build community and get involved in life on campus. And heading down to Wellington, our capital city, Victoria University of Wellington. So it's for a capital city, it's quite compact. It's kind of built around a harbour, and then the hills has where the suburbs are and the university is. So the university housing is right like kind of overlooking the city. So it has the most amazing views. You walk down into the city and kind of up to the campus. So it's very walkable. It's very beautiful. And sorry, I just have a little dog that is running in and out. So the students also say they get very fit because you're kind of walking down to town up to campus, but it's a really great location. The photo at the top, even though it's quite small, that's kind of the center of the university hub. It's a great place to kind of hang out and people watch. The library's on one side, and then all kind of student services, cafes, bookshop and stuff. The medical centre are all on the other side. So it's a great compact campus. There are some classes in different parts of the city, like because it's our capital city, politics, public policy, law, they are very popular programs. And the awesome thing about if you were doing any of those type courses is that a lot of the courses are down kind of in the area around Parliament. So you're kind of walking past like, you know, the iconic Parliament buildings in New Zealand, and you're right in the downtown. It's got some great it's got an architecture and building science program and some great film and communication. If music is your thing, it's got the New Zealand Music School as part of the university, and also environmental and earth science, lots of fieldwork opportunities too. And with fieldwork, there are lots of great courses that Brittany can talk to you about, courses with field work components, which means you kind of get to go out and see things as part of your course. So yeah, definitely look into those if you're wanting to see a bit more, dig a bit deeper, see more of the local area. In terms of your accommodation, so you'll either be in the Everton apartment complex, which is again about 4 to 5 flatmates in an apartment building. So all of you'll get your own living area, kitchen, bath, you like shared bathroom, but then you have your own room. So all of our accommodation offerings, you'd have your own room. And that's just located about a 5 to 10 minute walk from campus. The other option is Calburn Flats. So they're kind of just villas kind of located either above the campus or below the campus, just they could be in the surrounding streets. So but again, you'd have a mixture of Kiwi and international flatmates, and you're doing your own cooking, so good idea to get some recipes up your sleeve before you come, so you're not just living on pot noodles. And yeah, you've got a lot of independence, which students really enjoy. There are some unique offerings at Victoria. So they have the Victoria International Leadership Program, which is a real global program. You can do the certificate. So a lot of students would do this as part of their degree, and it's just kind of an additional recognition that you've participated in this program. But you'd go to some speaker events, and they might be speakers from working in international business, or they might be from like consulates. So as you know, the capital city, that's where a lot of the international representatives are based. So that's a really good program to get involved in if you have kind of a degree that you're looking at kind of global influences and global factors. There's also Victoria Plus, which is more of a service learning volunteer type program. And so you have to do a certain number of volunteer hours and then some reflections. So, but both of those programs, you can get like a certificate at the end. And, you know, that's a really good thing to kind of, while it's not specifically academic credit, it would look great on your resume in terms of, your future employment and opportunities. And then down to the South Island, so University of Canterbury in Christchurch. So the University of Canterbury is slightly different. Both Auckland and Wellington, very much city-based campus. Canterbury and Christchurch, it's more of like an urban environment. So you're very close to more, suburban, I should say. You're close to one, like the largest mall in the South Island. You're close to supermarkets, but it's kind of more out in a suburb than in the centre city itself. The great thing about Christchurch is that it's got a fantastic public transport system, so it's very easy to get anywhere, bus to the beach or bus to the city, and everything you kind of need is right there near the campus. The bottom photo is of the accommodation, Island Apartments, which is literally roll out of bed and cross the road and you're right on campus. So the University, Christchurch is not far from the Southern Alps. So if, adventure is your thing, the university has its own ski field, and lots of great outdoors clubs that you could join. Plus, because of its central location, it's very close to like great walks and national parks. So 25% of New Zealand is held in kind of conservation land, which means if you're into hiking and outdoors, we call it tramping in New Zealand, then you're never going to have a shortage of places to go and explore. In terms of what Canterbury also has a really strong engineering school, a strong business school, and they have some great communication, exercise science, public health. They also have internships for credit. So there's an entrepreneurship-based one and a humanities-based one, and lots of our students take those there as part of their courses, and find them really useful for their future life. There's also studio and fine arts, and then quite a new offering is youth and community leadership. So that's kind of along the like social work type line, but also not-for-profit kind of sector, which is a really exciting new offering that Canterbury has. I mentioned the Island Apartments, and again, same setup, own kitchen, own bedroom, and great way to kind of expand your networks and meet other people. There's also good social spaces at Island where our SEC often has her weekly catch-ups, so that you don't have to go too far to meet up. And so I mentioned the internships and service learning. So there's some great courses in terms of if you wanted to do a service learning kind of as full credit, where you'd be paired with probably an NGO or a community organisation and do internships that way. Or if business is more your thing, then they have opportunities there as well. And finally, down southernmost university in the world, the University of Otago. So in terms of it's more of a college town, what you would say in the US, and so town and gown are very closely aligned. So the university is right next to it's quite a small city, only 130,000 people. But, so a lot of the population are associated with the university. It's got one of the two medical schools, Auckland and Otago. And so, the hospital's a teaching hospital and is very close to campus too. So if you're in the field of biomedical sciences, then it has a really strong program. If you're pre-vet, there's a very strong zoology program too. So neuroscience is an undergraduate degree. There's also the School of Phys Ed for kind of sports science, and it's got the oldest geology school. It's the first university. So the School of Mines or Geologies was one of the foundation departments. So that's a lot of our students take that. They've got some amazing field trips, but also they have a brand new music suite, and social anthropology and archaeology are also quite strong. The accommodation, they are university flats, so that might be a standalone house or it might be part of a complex. They have Kiwi hosts, and all of our accommodation has like RAs that kind of plan community events, and have 24/7 kind of numbers you can call. So the university flats are kind of surrounding the campus area. It might be a 5-minute walk, it might be slightly longer, 10-minute walk, but they're all within walking distance. And if you like a more, social kind of environment, then you should definitely let them know during your application, or if you'd like somewhere quieter, and then they can accommodate that as well. They have like a volunteering social impact studio, and you can also apply for the UniFlat Sustainability Neighbourhood, which is a little group of flats. It has like a community garden in the back. New Zealand has a nationalised recycling program, so we recycle. So you have like a bin for all your compost, and that's a nationally rolled out. You recycle your cardboard, you recycle your cans. We recycle a lot of plastic. We don't use plastic bags at our supermarkets, so things like that. So we really encourage students to take part and just be as environmentally conscious as possible, and really make use of those opportunities that are available. Thank you, Brittany. And just in terms of the main differences between classes, some of our students are from big state universities. Some of our students are from smaller private liberal arts colleges. And so just in terms of the differences, like all universities in New Zealand, and the 4 that we work with are large state institutions. It's very much based on the UK education system, very much research based. So teaching, professors here are very much encouraged to be active researchers, and then students are expected to kind of learn research skills from 100 level from their first years at university. So very much an independent learning approach. Lecturers want to know that you've read the recommended texts that they've given to the classes, and then that you understand them. And we talk a lot about the academic system during orientation, and there's opportunities during the semester too to learn more and to get support if it's slightly different approach than you're used to. But a lot of students ask about doing like research with a professor in a New Zealand university, and it is possible if you're a real go-getter and want to kind of do some research and find a professor that aligns with what your interests are. But because they are very large universities, professors will often have honours students, master's students, and PhD students that they're supervising. So it is quite difficult for a study abroad student to kind of get that opportunity. But we have had some students who have just been like, this is what I really want to do. I will go and help on a research vessel, or I will go out and help take samples in the field because I'm really interested in learning more. So definitely don't think that it's not an option, but just know that you would have to kind of be really organised and kind of have that kind of, go-getter attitude to kind of approach someone and really just let them know how you could kind of assist. Lectures tend to be quite large, so you might have 1 or 2 lectures per course, and then that will be complemented by a lab or a tutorial, which the tutorials are more like smaller discussion groups. That might be 15 students, and you'd have a junior lecturer or a postgraduate student who's running those tutorials. And same with the labs, you'll have like lab demonstrators. So they're kind of good ways for getting the Q&A kind of answered for anything that you might not be sure about in your lectures. In terms of how many courses you take, so you can take 3 or 4 courses as part of it's a flat study abroad fee. So generally students would take 3 or 4. Anything more than that, and you wouldn't be leaving a lot of time to see much of what New Zealand has to offer. So plus it would any credit above 4 you'd have to pay extra for that. So that's just something to keep in mind. But generally students would take a mixture of first year courses, 100 level, and then maybe 200, 300 level, depending on where they're at in terms of their own academic journey. But that is standard. And in terms of your visa requirements, you cannot work while you're in New Zealand, so on your student visa. And so just, bear that in mind. A lot of students find they have more free time because I said it's a more independent learning approach. They kind of feel like they have more time on their hands, especially if they're not working part-time as well. So that just gives opportunities to try new. Each university has an amazing array of clubs and societies on offer, and so it definitely gives students a chance to try something new. And I've kind of mentioned the type of housing you'll be living at in each of your locations, but these are just kind of the standard things across all of our 4 programs. After your IFSA orientation, your IFSA SEC will travel down to your host city with you and check you into your accommodation, make sure that you've got your linen pack in your room so that you've got a nice comfy bed to sleep in the first night. And then just check that everything's kind of working as it should. They'll then take you to the supermarket to make sure that you can get some food for your first few days and, kind of answer any questions about the cost of things. Like we measure all our fruit and things like meat and stuff in kilograms. So that will get, in terms of so you'll be dealing with the currency conversion, but you'll also be dealing with the weight conversion. So it's sometimes good to just have someone there with you to navigate that for the first time. So you have shared kitchens, as I said. You'll be getting great at cooking for yourselves. All of our student experience coordinators will have some trusty recipes and brands and things that they prefer up their sleeves. So please utilise their knowledge. Heating, electricity, internet is all included, so you don't have to pay anything for that. It's kind of a fair use policy, and you'll have some of your flats will have washing machines and dryers in your flats, but others they'll be in a communal space. And next slide. But you'll all have access to laundry. The best thing to do is to get if family or friends are wanting to send you something, it's best to send those to the central office for the accommodation, just so that nothing gets lost and it's safely delivered, especially in Dunedin where the flats aren't in kind of one central building. They're kind of scattered around. And, there's always things that can go missing if they're left on a doorstep. So it's definitely a good idea to send them to the central Uniflats office, and then they'll just let you know when they arrive. So in terms of the accommodation, it's mixed gender. You share a bathroom, but you'll never be sharing your bedroom with anyone. And so if you do, if you would prefer a single gender residence, then please make that known in your at the time of your application. And we'll do the best. I mean, the best advice I can give is to just be really honest in your application and any of the personal descriptions that they ask you about, because then you're going to be matched with people who are most like yourself. And they do a really good job of trying to match people with, similar interests and things like that. So please just let us know if there's anything in particular that you need. If it's for example, sometimes students have needed a fridge in their room because they've got certain medication that needs to be refrigerated, things like that. So please let us know and we will try to accommodate that. All the accommodation is close to a local shopping centre or supermarket, so you're never going to be far from getting food. There's also lots of student oriented eateries and just small, we call them dairies, convenience stores, in order for you to get just the basics if you need them in a hurry. Our accommodation, because again, large universities, they do operate at full capacity. So it is it is really tough once you've arrived to actually change accommodation. But, if there are any concerns, then, we're here to help you. We have really long-standing and good relationships with our housing providers. And so, please let us know. We do like students to try and give it a chance. And because sometimes, after a busy few days at orientation, combined with jet lag, things can be quite overwhelming in the first couple of days. So just give yourself some time, get yourself some sleep, and we're here to kind of help and support and work through any challenges that you might have. Thank you, Brittany. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean. I'm going to talk briefly a little bit about the application process. So you'll be at various levels of your application. All the students who are with us are watching. But just a few reminders. For all 4 programs, the main 2 application requirements I need before submission are the official transcript from your home school and then your passport. And for Otago and Victoria, that must be notarized. So that means you need to take your original passport to a public notary. Usually they have that on your home school's campus somewhere. So I would start there, or you can also typically find a public notary at public libraries or your bank. But they will just need to view your original passport and then stamp a copy to certify that it is in fact a valid copy of your original. So that is important for Otago and Victoria. So if you have any questions about that, sometimes it can be confusing. Just don't hesitate to reach out to me and I can provide support there. You'll see in the image, this is kind of a little snapshot of your IFSA student portal. This is a very important place. I think everyone on the call has probably been in there a few times already. If you haven't, make sure to log in, check it out. That is where you'll find all of your missing app items. So everything that you need to complete for your application. So you'll see in the picture, this person is just missing that notarized passport copy. And then also you'll find really great resources here in your portal. You can't see it in this photo, but up across the top, there's a resources button. You can push that and click on that and it'll take you to also your program dates. So for any students heading in spring of 2025, your program dates are already in your portal. So be sure to check them out. And then look at all the resources we have for New Zealand schools. There's stuff in there on academics, health and safety, different student identities. So definitely be looking in your portal. You can also schedule a call with me through that portal. So it's a great place to familiarize yourself with and make sure even once your application is submitted, we'll be adding new things for you to do in that portal going through the process. And then a few requirements. Really, the thing to be aware of is the GPA requirement for each university. So as long as you meet that GPA requirement, you'll have no issue with your application being accepted. A few notes: for some GPA ranges, you'll see them listed here. For Auckland, for example, 2.4 to 2.7 does require extra app items. That would be a GPA statement and also an academic recommendation from your home school. If you open an application with us and you are in one of those groups, I'll reach out to you directly, add those application items to your application. They'll be in your portal and then help you with that going forward. So a few deadlines to be aware of. For Auckland and Victoria, it's coming up. I can't believe it's already September, but we're about a month out from those October 1st deadlines. Otago is October 15th, and Canterbury, we have a bit more time. We have until November 1st. That is for the spring. Any students watching for fall semesters, they're all in April. So Auckland and Canterbury, April 1, Otago and VUW, April 15th. So it's just important. All you have to have done by those deadlines are all the initial application items that are in your portal. So if you have any questions about whether you've met the deadline, just reach out to me and I'll make sure that you're good. I do want to talk a little bit about pre-arrival support as well. Once you've been submitted and you've accepted your program place, I'm going to be there to walk you through all of your important pre-arrival steps. So we will send out health, safety, and well-being form in a newsletter. So we'll add a form to your student portal, as I showed in that photo. Very, very important to fill that out when it comes. As Sean was saying, if you need any accommodations for anything, whether it's academics or you're worried about medications that you're on, you need to declare anything and everything on that form for us so that Tam and our team can reach out to you and make sure that you have what you need for your semester. And then we'll have a newsletter as well that will introduce you to Tam, provide her Calendly information to book appointments with her. So that'll be going out. We also send out a step-by-step visa guide for you for New Zealand. It's all online, which is really nice. No consulate visits are necessary. We'll also send out a flight guide, so we'll have some specific information in there for the orientation. As Sean mentioned, all students go to Auckland first for the IFSA orientation, and we will provide exact information on specific flights to book for our students heading to Otago, the UW, and Canterbury. You will all take a flight together with your student experience coordinator, IFSA staff member, to your host institution for move-in. So that will be in your flight guide. You can also continue to make advising appointments with me throughout this time. We'll send out a packing list and a travel essentials newsletter, first few days booklet, which will tell you, as the title kind of suggests, it'll tell you what to expect your first days in New Zealand and on your program. Provides a ton of helpful information. And then we will also do a pre-arrival webinar. So you'll have something similar to this info session where you'll log on and you'll get to meet Sean will be with us again and more of the New Zealand staff and just get very prepared for your program. And we'll be giving you a lot more information on what to expect, travel, housing, all that stuff that you'll need to make sure you can start your program feeling confident and ready to go. So I will be there with you through all of that. So please don't hesitate. Reach out if you have questions, schedule advising calls. I want to turn to scholarships now because we have some amazing scholarship opportunities with our New Zealand program specifically. If you're heading to Auckland, we have what's called our Auckland Upfront Scholarship. This is exclusively for IFSA students. It is up to $7,500 for each student. So an amazing scholarship opportunity here. It's meant to help you with out-of-pocket costs, including that flight, because it can be expensive flying out to New Zealand, and also your $500 IFSA deposit can be covered by that as well, and then any leftover amount goes directly to you to be used as you need. So this is an incredible opportunity. So if you're heading to Auckland, don't miss out on applying for this. All you have to do to apply is fill out an IFSA scholarship application. You should have that in that IFSA student portal. If you log on and you don't see it, just reach out to me, let me know. I can help you and make sure we get it added for you so you can take advantage of this opportunity. For Victoria, there is a study abroad scholarship as well. It's not IFSA exclusive, but it is for all of their study abroad students heading to VUW. It's about up to 1,000, that's New Zealand, 650 USD give or take per student, and that helps with tuition. They do have a GPA requirement of 2.7, and this is a separate application at VUW's website. So if that's you and you want to apply and you can't find that link, let me know and I can send it to you. We also have a specific IFSA scholarship for the University of Canterbury. This is up to 2,200. Again, that's NZD, but it does help with tuition, and you can apply as well by filling out that IFSA scholarship application. So that's a really great opportunity for our Canterbury students. And then finally, University of Otago, they have a first-generation college student scholarship for IFSA students exclusively. It is a full housing scholarship. So a pretty amazing opportunity there to get your housing costs covered. Just a note, this is for fall semester students only, and you can also apply by filling out that IFSA scholarship. So that is an important scholarship application in your portal if you're wanting to be considered for any of these awards. And then finally, a few general IFSA scholarships that all students are eligible to apply for if you'd like to. We have our general scholarship that's for all students to apply. It's needs-based, and it can be put towards your overall program cost. The amount of money will vary per application cycle, but definitely want to apply for that. That is, again, the same application that's in your IFSA student portal. So go ahead and fill that out. We also have a first generation one for IFSA students that is up to 2,500. It is merit based, so we do look at your resume and we look at an essay response that you'll craft for that. That's a separate application on IFSA's website. And then two more things to mention briefly. I know we're getting close on time, but we do have our Otago Cultural Grant. This is for spring 2025 only, and these are 10 $500 grants available for any student who applies for Otago who's in the spring 2025 pipeline. So that would be dispersed to you once on site. So very helpful to have a little extra funding for your daily living costs and food and all of that. And then finally, we do have a diversity scholarship as well. It's partnered with the FEA. It's $5,000 per awardee, so that's an incredible opportunity as well. So some really awesome scholarship opportunities that you can take advantage of just to help offset some of those costs. Please reach out to me with any questions on any of these, and happy to help. And then finally, before we have a few more minutes for a Q&A if needed, just want to recap a little bit that IFSA difference. So as we've been going through in this presentation, we have extensive pre-arrival advising for you on anything and everything you need, from academic to cultural questions, housing, identity questions, anything that you need to know about your experience heading to New Zealand. I'm here for you. We're all here for you. We have the amazing on-site support from arrival at the airport through the IFSA orientation, and even into navigating your new surroundings in your host city, getting support from those student experience coordinators on site. IFSA will be here for you every step of the way to make sure you have what you need. And then, of course, again, wanting to make sure you have that engaging and meaningful semester, setting your goals, working through that with your team on site, and making sure you have opportunities to get involved and experience the culture. And really just we, your IFSA team, want you to build that IFSA community, have the intercultural intervention, mediation, and mentorship that you need as you're doing your study abroad experience, so that you can really hit the ground running once you get to New Zealand and make the absolute most of your experience there. So we are all here for you throughout your whole process, and we're very happy that you've chosen to go with us and to go with IFSA. So I know we have a few minutes for a Q&A. If anyone, I don't actually think you can unmute or turn your cameras on, but if you have a question for us, feel free to drop it in the chat really fast. We'll be happy to answer that for you. And if not, that is okay too. You can reach out to us at any time. I will drop my email address in the chat if you don't have it already. It's there. Feel free to email me anytime. If you go on IFSA's website, you will find the program pages for all 4 New Zealand universities. Ton of great information there as well. Links to set up advising calls with me. So make sure you go check those out. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us going forward. I think there are no questions today. That's great. So thank you so much again for joining us for Discover New Zealand. Some really amazing, exciting opportunities await you there. So we hope to hear from you going forward, and let us know if you need anything. We hope you have a great rest of your day or evening or night, whatever time it is when you're watching this. And yeah, let us know if you need anything. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. I look forward to welcoming you to New Zealand when the time comes. Thanks. Bye.